Newlywed murder trial out of Montana. Jordan Graham charged with pushing her husband off a cliff just 8 days after their wedding. The jury now hearing the first witnesses yesterday. ABC's Ryan Owens is covering the case. Good morning, Ryan.
Good morning from a very snowy Montana to you, George. A total of 8 men and 6 women, that includes 2 alternates, must now decide if Jordan Graham is a murderer. Among the first witnesses they heard from, her own maid of honor.
Jordan, do you want to say anything about how the trial's going so far?
Jordan Graham doesn't show much emotion as she walks out of court, and she doesn't show much inside either. Monday, the 22-year-old sat quietly as federal prosecutors called her own maid of honor to testify against her.
Could you tell us what it was like to see her?
Kimberly Martinez says she was Graham's closest friend and helped her plan her wedding to 25-year-old Cody Johnson. The man Graham is accused of pushing off a cliff just 8 days after she said, "I do." Graham has pleaded not guilty. Martinez read text messages Graham sent her the day after the wedding. "Totally just had a meltdown. I'm completely second-guessing everything right now." Prosecutors say she shoved him face first off a cliff at Glacier National Park back in July because she'd fallen out of love with him. More text to her maid of honor. "I should be happy, and I'm just not. If I tell him how I'm really feeling, it's going to break his heart." Graham's defense attorneys say it was all a horrible accident, that the newlyweds were arguing about the bride's grave doubts about getting married so young when Johnson grabbed her arm and she pushed him off in self-defense. The jury also heard text to her maid of honor that may support that claim. Just 2 days before his death, she wrote of her new husband, "He held me down the other night and was in my face. He gets a temper fast."
Up next this morning, more from that maid of honor. And George, this judge is moving this thing at a breakneck speed. He says he has another trial starting on Monday in a different Montana city, and he plans to be there. He wants the jury to have this case by Friday.
Wow, not wasting any time. Okay, Ryan, thanks very much. Let's get more on this now from ABC Chief Legal Affairs anchor Dan Abrams. First day early read?
Yeah, look, it's a pretty straightforward case. I'm not surprised it's going pretty quickly. But what's really interesting is how both sides are trying to use the problems in the marriage. The prosecution saying this was the motive. She wanted out, so she kills her husband. The defense, on the other hand, is saying she was worried. She did want to talk to him about getting out. She texted friends about her concerns that, look, I'm going to have the talk today, but if something happens to me, if you don't hear from me, then maybe something happened.
And we also heard the first rationale from the defense for why Jordan Graham might have lied about what happened.
Well, that's right. And the claim from the defense is that she was scared, that she didn't think anyone was going to believe her. Now, this is one of the weaker points for the defense. This notion that she's lying for days to the authorities, to her friends, to her family, and the reason she didn't want to tell anyone, they say, is because she was afraid that no one was going to believe her.
But there are some indications from the judge that this could be a tough case for the prosecution.
Well, first of all, the judge did not allow the prosecution to present some potentially incriminating statements from her in the past that they wanted to introduce. But B, and maybe most importantly, there is a crucial interview that she did with the authorities here. And the judge may give an instruction at the fact that they didn't record part of that conversation, the crucial part of it, that's not normal, meaning that that the jury can take something away from that. They can have concerns about the way that was done. Depending on how severe that instruction is, that could be a very significant point against the prosecution.
Okay, Dan Abrams, thanks very much.